Okay, I'm so sorry again that the volume failed you, that my mic failed you on 10.4 geometry problems using laws of sines and cosine. Okay, so let's go over what took place in the video that you watched. So first here, it says that we were given a triangle, and the measurements are AB equals 15. So AB was 15, we had BC was 30, and AC was 24, okay? It asked us to find the length of the median to the longest side. So we're looking for the length of the median to the longest side. So our median is the segment that divides the side into two equal parts. So the segment that divides this into two equal parts is right here. That's our median, right? So 30 becomes 15 and 15. In order to solve for this, you're going to have to solve for an angle. Whether you choose to solve for angle C or angle B, it doesn't matter, except how your law of cosine is going to look, okay? Anytime you're giving three sides, that's a sign that you're going to be using law of cosines. So if I chose to solve for angle C, then I'll be using cosine of C equals A squared plus B squared minus C squared divided by 2 times A times B. If I chose to do angle B, then I would have switched it around so that A and C are what's being squared and B is what's being subtracted, and then gone from there. So I chose to do C. So cosine of C equals, and I plugged everything in, 30 squared plus 24 squared minus 15 squared, all over 2 times 30 times 24. I get my fraction because I like to keep things as exact as possible. And then I found the angle measure. To find your angle measure, remember you have to use inverse. So we did cosine inverse of 751 divided by 1,440. Okay, plugged it into the calculator, and we get 58 and 57, approximately 58 and 57 hundredths of a degree, but we round it to the nearest degree of 59 degrees. Okay, now I have angle C. Now that I have angle C, I now can proceed to solve for the smaller triangle, the side of the smaller triangle. So to do that, we use law of sines. The reason why we use law of sines is because we had an angle and we were looking for its opposite, but we were able to do this. I mean, the reason why we weren't able to use law of sines is because we have the angle, but we're looking for its opposite, so we can't set up a ratio to solve for anything. So we had to use law of cosines again. I have a side angle side situation, which is going to lead me to law of cosines. I can solve for the missing side. So I'm going to use cosine C again, but this time I'm going to not know the value of C. Okay, so not knowing the value of C, I plug everything in and then I simplify. After I simplify, then my goal is to get C by itself. So I ask myself, what do I need to do to get C by itself? Well, I have to multiply by 720. Boom, 720 times the cosine of 59. Then I have to subtract 801 minus 801. Then I'm going to have to multiply by a negative. Bam. And then I have to take the square root. Boom. Okay. This is what I put in the calculator, the inside. So when I put the inside in the calculator, just to make sure there's no errors, I end up with 430 and 1700ths approximately. Then I take the square root of that and I get approximately, the length is 20 and 74 hundredths units. And now I have found the length of the median. Okay, so it's a two-part situation in order to find the length of the median on one. On two, it says a parallelogram has a 70-degree angle and sides 6 centimeters and 10 centimeters long. How long are the diagonals? So I labeled everything I knew about this parallelogram. I put in my sides, boom, 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 boom. Then I put in that I have an angle of 70, or opposite angles are going to be the same, so 77. And then adjacent angles have to be supplementary. So if this is 70, then this has to be 110. So I put in all the information that I know, and it wants to know how long are the diagonals. Okay, so I'm going to find the first diagonal. So I'm going to find AC, and then we're going to find BD, right? So we're going to find AC first, and then we'll find BD. So I have a side angle side situation. And how do I know I have a side angle side situation? Because if you look at this triangle, I know this side, it's included angle, and this side, right? So side angle side lets me know that I'm going to be using law of cosines. Okay, I have angle B, and I'm looking for side B, which would be my diagonal here. Okay, so in order to do that, I have cosine of B equals A squared plus c squared minus b squared divided by 2 times a times c. I'm going to substitute all the values in where they go. So b, 70, a and c, a and c. I simplify. Once I simplify, my goal is now to get b by itself. In order to get b by itself, I'm going to have to multiply by 120, subtract 136, multiply by a negative, and then take the square root. And that's how b becomes by itself. I like to put things in separately in the calculator, so I put in what's underneath my radical first, and then I take the square root of that. So the length of AC is approximately 9 and 745 thousandths. Okay. On part 2, I'm now focusing on a different side of the triangle because I need to find BD, right? So now I'm using angle C, and angle C is 110, and I'm looking for my diagonal, which we're going to call side C for the formula. Okay. My included angles are 6 and 10, which we're calling angle B and angle D. Okay. So notice here, I put D's and B's in places of A and B. Plug everything in. Boom, boom, boom. Simplify. And again, the goal is to get C by itself. So in order to get C by itself, I'm going to multiply by 120. Bam. Subtract 136. Boom. Multiply by a negative. Yeah. And then take the square root. Ta-da. Okay. I put in my radicand. And I get this approximately. And then I take the square root. And we get 13 and 306 thousandths approximately is the length of the diagonal. Okay. Our last one, it says, if a gallon of paint covers 350 square feet, how many gallons are needed to paint a triangular deck with sides 75, 60, and 68? Okay. So I labeled all my sides. The first thing I'm going to do is find the area. And because I have side, 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 I can find the area using Heron's formula, okay? So I find the sum of my sides, 203 divided by 2, and I get 101.5. After I do that, I'm going to plug everything into Heron's area formula where it goes. Plug everything in, and this time I went ahead and typed the entire thing in. So I get that the area is approximately 1,933 and 759 thousandths square feet. Okay, that's the area of my deck, and I want to paint it. So I know that it's going to take 350 square feet. Well, paint 1 gallon covers 350 square feet. So I'm going to divide what I have to figure out what I need in order to paint. So I divide that by 350. After I divide, I get approximately 5 and 525 thousandths gallon. And so we round up to 6 gallons to make sure we can cover our deck. It's better to have more than not enough. Okay. All right. That's the recap with words. Thank you. And sorry again.